Welcome. Today we're diving into an idea that, well, it really shook up how we think about Earth. Forget seeing it as just, a giant ball of rock. We're exploring Earth as this dynamic, self-regulating system, almost like it's alive in a way. We're talking about the Gaia hypothesis, a concept that totally reframed our view of the planet's interconnectedness. So our mission today, let's unpack its origins, its core ideas, and its pretty interesting journey through science, see if we can give you a fresh perspective. Okay, so to really get it, maybe we should start with the basics. What is the foundational idea here?
Right. Well, what's really fascinating, I think, is that the Gaia hypothesis suggests that living things, organisms, they interact with non-living parts of Earth, the air, the water, the rocks, and they form this synergistic complex system. It regulates itself. Essentially, life actively helps maintain the conditions that life itself needs to survive.
Actively maintains, that's the key bit. And the origin story, it's pretty unique too, isn't it? Part science, part mythology almost.
Exactly. It came from James Lovelock, a brilliant chemist back in the 1970s. And Lynn Margulis, the microbiologist, she was crucial in developing it further.
Right.
And the name Gaia, well, that actually came from the novelist William Golding. Lord of the Flies, he was Lovelock's neighbor. Suggested naming it after the Greek earth goddess.
No kidding. Golding. Okay. So connect that to the bigger picture then, this core idea of self-regulation. How deep does it go?
Well, the core concept is that Earth really functions as a self-regulating system.
Yeah.
And it's not just a nice metaphor.
Okay.
It involves, the biosphere, that's all the living stuff interacting with the atmosphere, the oceans, the soil, the pedosphere. It's all coupled together.
All the spheres.
Right. And this whole system, Gaia, it works to keep the environment, the physical and chemical conditions optimal, or at least stable enough for the life that exists now. And it does this through feedback.
Feedback, like a thermostat.
Sort of, yeah. Cybernetic feedback from the living things, biota. So life's processes like how plants affect CO2 or how microbes cycle nutrients, they create these loops that correct imbalances. It's emergent. Not conscious, but a property of the whole system working together.
That's a huge claim. Can you give us a solid example? Something concrete that shows this self-regulation in action?
A really good one, I think, is global temperature. Think about this. The sun's energy output, it's increased by, maybe 25, 30% since life first got going billions of years ago.
Wow, that much?
Yeah, a lot. But Earth's surface temperature overall has stayed remarkably stable. I mean, within the range needed for liquid water and, life as we know it. That's a massive balancing act over geological time.
Okay, but how? How does that happen without some kind of intention? Because that was a big criticism early on, right? That it sounded teleological, like Earth intended to stay comfy.
Exactly. That teleology charge was a major hurdle. So, to counter that, Lovelock and Andrew Watson came up with a model called Daisy World.
Daisy World.
Sounds so?
Is it what?
It is. Beautifully so. It's a mathematical simulation. Imagine a planet with just two types of life, black daisies and white daisies.
Okay.
Black daisies absorb sunlight, warming the planet locally. White daisies reflect it, cooling things down. As the planet's overall temperature changes, maybe because the sun gets brighter, the daisies that are better suited to the new temperature thrive.
So if it gets warmer, white daisies do better, reflect more light, and cool things down.
Precisely. And if it gets cooler, black daisies gain an advantage, absorb more heat, and warm things up. It's just simple ecological competition driving these feedback loops that stabilize the whole planet's temperature.
Without any foresight.
Zero foresight. It showed you could get planetary regulation from basic biological processes. It provided that mechanism people were asking for.
Okay, that makes sense. But, science loves a good debate. It wasn't universally accepted overnight, and there are still different takes, right? Contrasting views.
Oh, absolutely. The hypothesis itself evolved. Lovelock clarified it wasn't about purpose. And different versions emerged, like weak Gaia, which basically says life influences the environment, versus strong Gaia, the idea that life optimizes it.
And where do scientists mostly land now?
Well, something closer to co-evolutionary Gaia is more mainstream now. The idea that life and the environment evolve together, influencing each other constantly, it's pretty much integrated into what we call Earth system science.
But there are counter-arguments, too. You mentioned contrasting views.
Yes, like the Medea hypothesis, named after the mythological figure who killed her children. It suggests that life, collectively, can sometimes be self-destructive, destabilizing the planet, and potentially causing mass extinctions. So it's not always about creating stability.
Medea. Gaia. Interesting contrast. So, wrapping this up, what's the big takeaway? The Gaia hypothesis, even with the debates, it changed things.
Fundamentally, it forced us I think, to adopt a much more holistic, interconnected view.
Yeah.
Seeing Earth not just as parts, but as this incredibly complex dynamic system where life plays a central role in its regulation.
It definitely makes you pause and think.
It does. And it leaves you with some deep questions, too, like, is our planet's stability just a kind of selection bias?
Yeah.
The anthropic principle. We're here because Earth happened to be stable, otherwise we wouldn't be around to observe it. Or are there actual mechanisms, maybe like differential persistence, almost a kind of Darwinian selection, acting on whole biospheres over eons, favoring systems that are more resilient, more stable? We're still figuring that out.
Wow. Plenty to think about there. It
Yeah.
certainly forces you to consider your own place, our place, within this whole intricate planetary dance. Thank you for this deep dive today.